welcome to Generation Now TV. I'm Pastor R.J. Davis, student ministry pastor here at Nations Ford Church. And listen, we've got a great show for you today. Here's the question I want to ask. As a teen, wouldn't it be great to own your own business or to make your own money so you can stop begging mom and dad for $20 just to go to the movies or just to buy a pair of shoes? You know, I'm very intrigued by teens today who go a step beyond the norm and break the mold of the normal expectations of teenagers. You know, when I think about that, I think about Mark Zuckerberg, who is the CEO and owner of Facebook. He started that multi-million-dollar and billion-dollar business, as a matter of fact, right in his college dorm room. I think about Alex and Brett Harris, the authors of Do Hard Things, where they challenge teens to go beyond the norm of expectations. As a matter of fact, they tell teens to simply rebel against what is normally expected of them. And you know what? There's a story that's very fascinating to me about Damian Williams. And here's a young boy, 14 years of age, who is far ahead of his peers and even some adults. Well, you know what? Why don't we take a look at his story?
He's only 14, but Damon Williams is already walking in the shoes of a seasoned investor.
Well, tell me, what are you worth?
I think I'm a shade over 50,000 right now.
How much?
50,000 right now in my portfolio.
You're 14 years old?
Yeah.
You know, when I was 14, I was thinking about riding horses, not the stock market. Aside from that thing about being a super successful investor, Damon's a pretty normal kid. He doesn't always clean his room, as you can see, but he is a top student and a model.
Pumping up and down is Mr. Elo.
Actor. And the starting point guard for his varsity team.
Yep, it's gone.
But this is where he really scores big.
I've gained $1,000 in coach.
You gained $1,000 over how long? How do you find out? How do you research stocks?
There's tons of websites about that you can go. You can go directly through the company and go to their website.
And what are you looking for? What do you study?
Like, you know, certain gauges, like a P ratio or, you know, dividend yields, growth over the last 5 years. It has to go up consistently because, you know, history repeats itself. I look for the growth rate. It has to be at least 15%.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I mean, can't you just go play a video game or something?
Yeah, but it'd be much more cool to know that I own a piece of a company that makes a video game.
All right. And remember those shoes we saw a minute ago? Well, they're what got Damon started investing in the first place.
I'm an avid basketball player, and I love the basketball trends. So there are a new pair of Jordans coming out, and of course I wanted them.
And your mom said?
No, she didn't really want to buy them. So she said I had to save up to buy a share of Nike before I could buy another pair of shoes.
That's because Damon's mom learned some tough lessons of her own. It was the 1990s. Deep in debt, April Williams figured she'd teach herself and her son some financial discipline. Damon got it, and today he has 54 shares of Nike stock, along with a whole lot of shoes.
How many of these things do you have?
So I probably get about 10 pairs of Nikes a year.
His secret? He says his shoes are like money. Both are compounding over time.
It compounds in interest, and it grows faster than the rate of inflation.
I really wanted to know if he's tempted to trade in and out of his stocks.
No, I'm not really that much of a fickle investor like that. I'm more of a buy and hold type of guy.
He, quite frankly, is sort of off the charts ahead of his peers.
And it turns out, many adults.
What financial ratio does a stock analyst consider when evaluating a company?
I have to say either a P ratio or return on equity or earnings per share.
What are unrealized gains?
Unrealized gains is the money you've made on paper. Cash would be the realized gains.
Damon's even teaching other kids how to research stocks. So where'd he get all his experience anyway?
Did you learn it from the Rich Dad, Poor Dad guy, Robert Kiyosaki?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Did you learn it from Susie Orman?
You can do anything you want when it comes to your money.
No, she knows what she's talking about, but I don't think she taught me much.
How about Jim Cramer?
I think you should back up this truck, Chevron.
He's very entertaining, but I don't learn much from him.
Now, when I'm posting you, I'm backing you in, right?
Yeah.
I taught him to be excited about being an owner, to own a piece of Walgreens, to own a piece of the company that made that Happy Meal for him that he was always begging for. Or, of course, as we know, to own a piece of Nike for all those gym shoes he has to have.
He's clearly a young man already comfortable in his own shoes and ready to put the wingtips of Wall Street on notice.
Well, you just saw the story of Damian Williams. Now, is he that much different from you? I really don't think so. And today's show is going to be talking about empowering teens and encouraging them to pursue their dreams, their passions, even that business that they're thinking about. So I want you to stick around because we're going to be joined by a young lady who is an author, a life coach, and a motivational speaker. And she's going to be giving her perspective and her insights in how teens can pursue what is God-given and placed inside of them. And so I want you to stick around. We're also going to have our panel of teens that's going to come and join our conversation. All that's coming up next on Generation Now TV, so stick around.
Attention, all graduating seniors of the class of 2012. The Philip M. Davis Scholarship Information Packets are now ready and available for you to pick up at the kiosk in the lobby immediately following services. Be sure to fill out your profile sheet when you pick up your packet. All scholarship packets are due by May 27th. Please submit your packet to Minister R.J. Davis or Sister Jeanette Wack. For more information, contact Minister R.J. Davis at rjdavis@nationsforward.org.
Welcome back to Generation Now TV, and I'm glad that you've joined us. We're talking about today's teens and encouraging them and empowering them to do great things and to be able to pursue their passions, their goals, their dreams, and also even the business and the business ideas that they have and making money for themselves. And so I'm thankful that you guys have tuned in today. Joining me today and with us is Ms. Shante Jordan, better known as Coach Jay, and let me just share a little bit about her. She's a highly recognized motivational speaker. She's a life empowerment coach, as well as the author of a new book, Learn How I Made a Fortune in College, a real life student strategy guide. And so we're going to talk with her today and get her insights and get her opinions about teens being empowered today to do great things. And she's also a mother and a wife, and so I'm sure she's got some great insights for us. Shante, thank you so much for joining us today on Generation Now TV. I appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here today as well.
Now, I just kind of briefly skimmed your bio, but tell us who Shante really is. Tell us a little bit about yourself first and foremost.
Well, first of all, like you said, I'm a mother, a wife, and an author, a motivational speaker. But truly, who I am is someone who has a lot of drive, a lot of belief in myself, and truly has a lot to offer to this world.
Great, great. That's awesome. How do you like our studio audience here? These some great group of kids here?
Yes, I'm so excited today to give them some feedback and some information that's going to actually ignite their lives.
Great, great, great. Now, here's what I want to ask you and begin with. How did you begin sharing with young teens, junior high, high schoolers? How did you begin that process of being a motivational speaker, a life coach? Where did that begin, and was that always your dream?
Well, I have to be honest with you. It wasn't always my dream to be a motivational speaker. It kind of came about when I was in high school, and I got suspended like every year of high school. I tell this to students so that they'll know that I'm really down to earth. But I got suspended every year in high school, not because I was a bad person, but because there were some bullies, some people who just pushed me to the edge, you know? And so one of the things that really empowered me is the fact that I was told that I would be nothing from my principal. My last year that I was going to get suspended, that I got suspended, my principal told me that I would be nothing, that no one would want me, and that no job would want me, and no college would want me. That's kind of tough, you know, someone to tell you that you'll be nothing. Yeah. And so after getting a butt whooping and a 3-day suspension, I decided that I no longer wanted to be the passenger of my life, that I wanted to become the driver of my own success. And so far, that is just what I've been doing. And so with that being said, I took it in my heart to go about and make sure that I started to believe in myself. And by doing that, I've faced a lot of different adversities, but I was really empowered to just talk to students to help them to know that they are someone, and it doesn't matter their circumstance, it doesn't matter where they are in their life, that they can do anything that they decide to do. And it doesn't have to be nothing, it's something, that everyone has something to offer.
And that's a great message, and so many of our young people need to hear that with the various backgrounds that they come from, various home situations that they find themselves in, and I'm thankful for individuals like yourself that take that time to really motivate our teens and to let them know and encourage them that they can pursue their goals, their desires. They can be all that particularly God wants them to be, and to look forward to the future. Now, you've written a book, and it's entitled Learn How I Made a Fortune While in College. It's a real-life student strategy guide. Why don't you share a little bit about how you began this process of writing this book, and what's the message that you communicate in this book?
Okay. Like I said, basically the fortune, people get all, wow, you made a fortune in college. And I actually did. I got over $60,000 while in college. And when you think about it, a fortune is whatever you decide your fortune to be. But the fortune that I really truly talk about is the fact that you have to know yourself. You also have to become a leader. You have to know about networking and communicating, and all those types of things are what I share with students in order for them to become the driver of their self and be able to create their own opportunities. So I think last February I decided that I was going to go about and talk to these students, and I wanted to have a platform and to share with them the story of the fact that I did come from a single parent home, but not only that I come from a single parent home, but I did not allow that to be my driving force. And because there's so many opportunities out here and the economy is kind of rough, I want students not to be discouraged. I want them to know that they can create their own opportunities. But first you have to believe in yourself. Sure. So in February I decided I'll write this book, and I wrote the book and I took it full speed ahead and finished up in August. And so here I am today to be able to share this story with you all.
Wow, awesome, awesome. Now, what are some of the tips, some of the insights, some of the things that you present in this book? And can you give us a quick, maybe just some of those highlights that you would want our teens to take away with?
Yeah, definitely. How many of you all are fearful of things, like something you're afraid of taking a chance sometime? Those are the things that I talk about, really overcoming your fears and facing those fears and making sure that you look them right straight ahead and making sure that you know that, I don't care what it is, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I encourage students to make sure that you face your fears. The next thing that I encourage students to do is actually learn how to believe in themselves. Because the fortune that I did get, the $60,000, it didn't just come because I got over a 3.0 grade point average. It actually became because I truly believed in myself. I knew that I had something to offer. I knew that I wanted to gain something, and then I also knew that there was much more that the world had to offer me as well. And the next thing I do is I challenge students to really look at what it is that they want to do, where it is that they want to go. A lot of times a lot of students feel as though they're going to just completely not get there just because they're young, just like you said early on in the show. But you can actually do any and everything. And how do you do that? You first have to take action. A lot of times people don't take action, and that's how you're missing the point in life. If you just start by taking one step, you'll be able to get anywhere that you want to go. And so you don't have to necessarily run after it, you just have to go after it and take that step. And in my book, I just give them a layout of really creating your vision for your life and becoming really brave and being able to believe in yourself, vowing to be different, realizing that you have potential, and also making sure that you accept yourself and evolve others as well.
That's great information. That's great message to present. I want to ask you this. Obviously, you are a person of faith as a Christian. How does that influence how you speak to teens and communicate your message? What role does that play in what you do as a life coach and as a speaker?
Yeah, first of all, I had to realize that, it wasn't all about me. you know, that God had something inside of me that he wanted me to reach out to someone else. Because a lot of times we think that we're not strong enough, we're not able to do things because of whatever reason, because we may not be smart enough, we don't have the experience, we don't have the money. But once we realize and get really in tuned into who we are, then we can be used by God to do any and everything. And so I go by using a GPS. God provides strategy, or God provides strength. So basically, every day I look to God to determine where it is that he wants me to go, where it is that he's working. And you can do that at any age. Sure. And by doing that, it just makes life a little less stressful, because you're saying, hey, I'm not working for a particular corporation. I'm working for the kingdom of God. And so therefore, you can do anything. And I mean, even though it sounds so small and practical, it's the truth. Absolutely. And the first thing you have to believe first is in God, and believe that he died for our sins, and then from there you can do anything. You just ask him what it is that you have to do.
Absolutely. You know, one of the messages that I always communicate to our youth, and I can constantly preach to them, is that they're not just the next generation, but they're the now generation. In other words, they don't have to wait years from now to do great things. They can begin now, starting their pursuing their vision, pursuing their goals. Tell me, as a teen sitting out here in the audience, someone that has that vision, that goal, how do they really get started? What's the starting point for them, and where do you see them utilizing those resources to get where they need to go?
Well, first of all, I believe that the starting point is to start right now. Just like you said, start right now. Starting, making sure that you're attentive, you're listening, you're being prepared, you're well-versed, meaning you're able to go out and look for different opportunities. And how do you look for different opportunities? They're right there in your hand, right there on your text messaging when you're texting your friends and you're texting those people. You can become a person who can empower people right there, your friends, and empower them. If you want to have your own business, it could actually start from just a passion. You may, like I heard a gentleman say, he likes to cook. He may be able to start cooking some cookies or whatever and start a fundraising opportunities for people who are less fortunate. You have to just really be in tune as to what's going on and being aware. And a lot of times people don't look at, you know, they look at it, the circumstances, man, I can't do this, you know, this is not where I want to be. But the true thing is that if you truly start looking at where it is that you can start at as far as your schools, you can start in your classroom, just being different. I believe that you have to be bold, you have to be brave, and you have to be different. And if you can do that, then you can do anything. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's a great message. One of the things that I'm curious about from your perspective is, you know, our teenagers today have been really labeled, and there's many stereotypes about them. How fair is that message, and how fair is that stereotype on our teens and on our youth today? Is that something that is fair to label them as, let's say, lazy or rebellious? What have you seen in talking with many youth and teens today? Well, it's not fair, but if you're living out what it is that people see, then of course you're going to get that label. Sure. So if I see someone who's being lazy and that is not motivated, then I'm going to, of course, stereotype that. That's just how life is, and that's how the world operates. If I see someone who may not know the answer, may not know the key, but at least shows some initiative and a desire, then therefore, then I know that you can change and make a difference. But for example, if you're in a classroom and your teacher is speaking to you and you're sleeping, then you have no way of getting the knowledge that you need. Sure. If you are a student who says, I want to go to college, but you're not studying, then you're not going to get where you need to be. So you're going to be called lazy. You're going to be called those things. But if you're someone to say, every day I study, but I still don't make that particular grade that I thought I was going to make, but if you take the initiative to go to your classroom and talk to your teacher and say, hey, miss, whatever your name is, and talk to her and say, you know, I really need help. I need to know what I need to do in order to improve. That teacher is going to think more highly of you because you actually started to go into the classroom and you showed that, hey, I have a desire. So I always tell people you have to have a desire. With this technology and everything, it's totally hard to compete with that. So what you have to do is bring it home to the student. So that may mean that for example, I was telling someone in your audience, you know, you may like text messaging, but why don't you start doing a social media type of run where people get paid to just tweet all day long.
Absolutely.
So you have to think differently. Okay, I don't like listening to my teacher, or I don't like doing something, but you can do something different to actually help the, you know, help another student or help yourself get to the next level.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's great. Turning those opportunities into ways of pursuing your passion and your dream and your vision, and I like that. The simple things that we do that we don't think about on a regular basis, how that can turn into an opportunity for something great down the line. Listen, Shantae, I'm glad that you're here with us. I'm glad that you're a part of this show. I want you to stick around because we've got some individuals, some young teens that's going to be with us, our teen panel, and so I want you to stick around because I want to get their opinion. I want them to join the conversation, but also they're going to have an opportunity to ask you questions as well. So I want you guys to stick around. Up next, our teen panel is going to join the conversation. You're watching Generation Now TV. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Generation Now TV. We've been talking with Shantae Jordan, Coach Jay, our motivational speaker, author, and she's been sharing some insights with us about empowering teens, motivating them, pursuing their goals, their passions, their dreams. And joining me now is our teen panel here. I want you guys to give it up for our teen panel here that's joined us today. We want to get their insight. We want to get their perspectives as teenagers, and be able to share some things with them as well too. And so I'm glad that they've joined us today on Generation Now TV. Thank you guys so much for being here and being a part of this show today. Now I want to get your opinion first and foremost, and then I'll allow you to have some questions for our guest, Coach Jay here. But let me ask you about the question that I asked her about stereotyping our teens. Many have been labeled lazy, rebellious, lack of interest in school. Is that a fair label for teens today? And if so, why or why not? Talk to me, Terrell. Let me know about that and what your thoughts are.
I don't think.
Go.
I don't think we're exactly lazy. Just some stuff we don't like to do. For example, like wash dishes. I mean, typical things that every ordinary kid does, whatever. So I don't agree with the lazy part.
Okay. All right. Demario, talk to me.
All right. When I hear the stereotype, I get kind of offended because obviously I have friends, being teens, that we play sports, go out to the community and help out. I recently did a community service event yesterday, so I wasn't really lucky yesterday. So.
Okay, great. Good.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off what Demario said, I think it's very unfair because they kind of disregard, I don't think any stereotype is true. Like, for example, black people like fried chicken. I know plenty of black people who don't like fried chicken, okay? And I think it disregards the teens who actually have like a passion for something. For example, one of my best friends, she likes to sing. She's a very excellent pianist, but she practiced every single day for hours. And one of my passions is to play tennis. I play tennis every single day for like 3 or 4 hours. So, I mean, that's not being lazy to me. And I'm sure like there's so many kids out there in the audience who have like a passion that they just love doing.
Sure. And that's great. Because I don't think you guys are the typical teens, and you don't fit that stereotype because of what you're involved in and because of the great things that you're doing. And so I'm grateful for you guys being outside of the norm and leading the way. Now, I know you guys have some questions for Coach Jay, and so I'm going to allow you guys to ask some questions of her and just kind of pick her brain a little bit. And so what questions do you guys have for her?
Okay, well, I've been kind of thinking about this. You said you were a person with a lot of drive, right? Was there any particular person who kind of like made you realize that you had that drive, or was it always instilled within you?
Well, first of all, thank you for the question. I believe that I've always had a particular drive about myself. I think that a lot of my qualities and a lot of things that I have gained has come from my mother, because she is a widow. She was widowed. She lost her husband at a young age, and she also was a single parent at one point before then. but it was her adversity. You know, when she faced her adversities, it was her perseverance and her persistence that showed me that, you know, you can still go forward. And so therefore she's been a guiding light in my life. And then also just because she loved herself and she showed me, you know, it's important to love yourself, I took on those qualities. And so because of that, I believe I have faced low self-esteem at times before. I can't say that just because I'm a motivational speaker now, you know, everything was perfect. But I do believe that because she had instilled in those qualities in me early on, I adapted those and adopted those, and so that now they're a part of me. So yeah, definitely that was my guiding light.
Excellent, excellent, great, great, great. Demario.
I see that you're an author, and I don't really like to write a lot, but obviously since I'm in school I had to. What are some of the things that inspired you to be an author?
Well, originally when I first started this project, it wasn't something I really truly wanted to do, like writing, because I like to write, but writing with thought and then putting in the thought process of who it's going to be articulated to. And so once I got inspired to start writing my story, because I believe everyone has a story. You know, each one of you all has a story. And once you start writing your story and start sharing that story, you can hire somebody to, you know, perfect it and get it well written and have the right vocabulary in it and all those types of things. So I did self-publish my book, meaning I didn't go to a publishing office. And just like you said, you can start your own publishing company. I started my own publishing company and became a fun project. There were times when I just wanted to throw the notebook down, but I just got really inspired to just keep going because I knew I had a message. So just use your story to write your message, and then you can even record it now. You don't even have to put it on in writing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great question. Terrell, what's your question for Coach Jay?
When did you start, like, actually speaking to youth?
Okay, well, I initially have had my ups and downs in jobs. And so because of my work experience in corporate America and just finding that it wasn't something that was really fulfilling to me, that I truly wanted to speak to people, I actually used to work with a company called Monster.com. And when I worked with them, they used to go out to speak to high school students, and we talked about making high school count and all that. And I thought, I can do that, and I can really do it on my own because I can make more money doing it, I thought at one time. But then I came to realize that it wasn't even about the money. It really became a passion by volunteering. And so I think I've been volunteering and speaking to people for about 10 years now. So it's been quite some fun, a good roller coaster too.
Great question, and that's something that that I believe that once you get started with something, your dream, your passion, that's something that will motivate you and propel you along the way. And so I'm glad that you guys are already beginning to think about that and some of the things that you want to do. Any other questions that you guys have for Coach Jay? What else do you want to ask her? Anything else?
So many of you are about to go to college or preparing to go to college, right? So no questions about college or anything like that? I would love to enlighten you on that.
Well, I plan on attending Winston-Salem State University, and I was just asking, like, do you know, like, what to prepare for when you're a freshman, like, who to hang out with, what the dorms are like, and food.
Exciting! I'm around. So I went to Winston-Salem State, and I graduated. But the thing that my experience, and I love to share with students, is the fact that just explore and find what you like to do. When I first got to college, I didn't have a clue as to what I wanted to do, and I really realized then it was really expensive. I wasn't really quite prepared to go to college somewhat. I had the grades, but I didn't really take the scholarship applications that seriously. But when I got into there the first semester, I started looking around and I started looking for the people who can connect me to the next level that I wanted to go. And I didn't learn that on until probably my my first semester, I was kind of like trying to feel my way around. But then after I got acclimated with the campus, I started meeting people. So I always encourage students to talk with your dean, and that's the person who's over your major when you decide what your major is going to be. Then you also want to make sure you know the person in the financial aid office. There are people that tell you when you're going to get a scholarship, when the money is available. Connect with those persons. And then when you get your work study, if you do work study, make sure you get something that you're passionate about, but not only that, it's going to take you to the next level. And then as far as the cafeteria food, get to know them really well too, because if you're extra hungry, they'll put you a side of the food to the side and you'll have that as well. So it's all about being strategic, even in the small things, you know, just kind of being strategic in your friendships. If you find that you're in a particular situation where you're with people who are not following what your mission and your vision is for your life, cut them loose. Let them go. But at the same time, I just say explore, have fun, and take it serious, but not so serious where you just can't enjoy yourself.
Let me ask you guys this one last question before we wrap up. If you were a business owner and wanted to own your own business, what type of business would you own? What industry or what market would you get into and own your own business? What do you think about?
If I was to own a business, I would probably own like a barbershop to help out the community. You know, every male needs a haircut, needs to look good, try to get that special girl.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
So, yeah, do something like that.
Okay. Now, do you cut hair? Or no, you just own the barbershop.
Yes.
I got you. That's cool. What business, Tyrell?
Probably like a construction agency, whatever, because the money won't go down. I mean, everybody needs like a building.
Okay.
Whatever. So.
That's good. That's good business. Good business. Mar, what business would you own and operate if you had to?
I would probably want to own something in the media industry. For example, like media corporations like BET, ESPN, ABC, something like that. Because I mean, everybody's always wants to watch TV. Somebody's always watching TV somewhere. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. And not even TV, but now even over the internet and so forth, so you can get those things on your computers and your laptops, your iPhones. And so that's big business, and that's big money there. Well, team panel, I'm thankful that you joined us today. Thank you, Coach Jay, Shante Jordan, for being with us today. I appreciate your wisdom, your insight. Listen, thank you for joining us today on Generation Now TV. We've been talking with Shante Jordan, Coach Jay. And listen, if you want to get a copy of her book, it's Learn How I Made a Fortune While in College, a real-life student strategy guide. Listen, you can go to her website. It's smjspeaks.com. There you'll find a wealth of information, a wealth of knowledge. Also, you can get your own copy of her book. And she's available to speak. She's available for empowerment and coaching, and so she's a great tool to have in your life. And so I want to thank her for being a part of our show today, Generation Now. And listen, if you want to be a part of our show, log on to our Facebook page, our YouTube page. There you can give your show ideas, you can give your questions for future episodes, and we know that something said will be able to empower your life as a teen. So thanks so much for joining us today on Generation Now TV. Until next time, remember, you only live once. God bless.